All right, guys, we're gonna take a little bit more time on this Cobalt today, get some more done. So my plan today is just kind of clean up the rest of the interior that I missed as far as the door panels on both sides here, as well as actually get this belt out that I rounded the head off and it just seized up in there. The Loctite on it is just making it impossible to get out. If you saw, I think it was part 2, I got a breaker bar and a pipe on it and I still couldn't get it out. I can't even use the tool anymore. So what I'm gonna do is just drill it, call it a day, get all this plastic out, start on these door panels, and that'll probably be all we do today. So here we go. All I really need to do is get this head cut off because of this big shoulder. I'd have to drill all the way through that in order to get to that. And all I really have to do is get that head off to release the belt so that I can actually get these panels off. Then I can actually cut and drill that out. So I'm gonna just cut it off first. I forgot to show you guys before we started. I like to do that at the beginning of the video. I pulled out a few things. It was $26.59 when I just started, and so far you saw me cut the bolt, pull the plastics off the side. I still got that screwdriver in there. Oh my god, it's a lot of weight. Yeah, but I'm gonna pull out these belts completely. I can pull off this top pad once I get the belts off here. So in order to get these rear belts actually out of the car, you can't get them out of the top pad here, as you can see, because there's no slot or anything. So you actually have to remove it from the floor here and then fish it through there, and then I can pull the whole thing off and not be intertwined with it there. And then we can take this whole thing off. So let me get that real quick. Not a good angle. Oh, there's that. And if any of you guys are curious, here's your satellite radio module hanging out up here on the back. So you know how I knew that? Says it, satellite radio. Dude, I'm sure these seatbelts are not that light. So that'll be cool to see. I'll put them all together. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I got all the seatbelts out of the thing. Well, in a pile here. We're looking at $26.49. And then let's take them all out. Hardware included. The 51.35. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Oh yeah, but obviously you're gonna have to have some kind of belts in this thing. But like I said, I'm gonna do it to a 5-point harness. Hopefully they should weigh quite a bit less. I mean, I'm not gonna put the back belts in either way. So you figure more than half that is gonna stay out of the car. So it's decent. Okay, so now I don't need no satellite radio, so I'm gonna take that thing out. And of course, I'm pulling these speakers out too. If anybody wants them, let me know. All right, so with the speakers out, and the satellite radio, lost another 6 pounds. Not a bunch, but hey, you know, every ounce counts, people. All right, so the doors are next. Pretty simple. There's a little tab in there. Pop that down and there's a panel that pulls off and it pulls out, looks like that with the screw there. Same idea with in here. See the little tab? Well, mine's broken off, but it would have a tab there. Pops up. And then you got 2 screws down in there as well. Unscrew that. The back pops up and then it slides out the back like that. Then you can unplug everything. So probably something you guys aren't gonna run into when it comes to taking the door panels off is I felt under here and I saw these little screws, but you can tell they're definitely not factory. Somebody had been in here already, and I put those in probably because they broke some of the tabs that are in there, and I'll show you those ones I pulled apart, because then this whole bottom side will be floppy. Yeah. See how floppy that is? That's all. Oh look, there's a clip right there. That's it. Oh, I still got a pen in here. I thought that was in the door. But yeah, so now this whole thing comes off. So the best method is to get a screwdriver back there and kind of just walk it around, and I'll show you here in a second. And so now I'm repainting this thing, so I could care less about what happens to the paint. But if you care, throw a rag over top of it, so then when you're fishing in there, you're not dogging up the paint and whatnot to keep it nice. And then once you have the whole thing loose, you just push up on it, and it comes unclipped. So a few things just to know when you're pulling it off. This cable right here is for the door handle. This is kind of like the OBD port I showed you on the other video, where it has this little tab right here, and the catch is on right there, that triangle there. And basically all you do is just pull this backwards and pull the whole thing up, and the cable comes right out of that. Same thing with this wire. This plug is for your little tweeter in the door panel here, and just make sure you unplug that. Another good thing, all this little rubber stuff that's coming off of this, you can actually ball that up and put that right in here if you decide to take your wing off. It's a little bit different stuff that I put in there because that's what I had, but I just saw this stuff and I was like, hey, I know what I could do with that. So it is waterproof. So with the door panel, without the door panel, 8 pounds in a door panel. Imagine that. That's heavier than I thought it was gonna be, honestly. There we go. So have the luxuries of the locks and the windows without a door panel. You can still just screw it to the bottom. I mean, it's sloppy as hell, but it pulls and closes the door as long as I'm not gonna rip it off. So these door bars in here is what I really wanna get out. The only problem is you see the framing there, it's actually pinched together and spot welded in here to keep everything together. Now I'm not really trying to take this entire door apart just to get those out. I may just get in there and kind of cut most of it out, because it does run along the entire door frame, as you can see. See what I can do as far as getting as much as I can out of there. But that is for another night. All right, I was gonna call it, but we are just too close to 26, or sorry, 2500 range, or 26 even, whatever you want to call it. So I gotta find 10 more pounds. And the one thing I'm looking at here is the sunroof here, because it's a fairly large item, and you got the motor on it up there, obviously the glass covering it, and you can see it's pretty simple. I mean, it's just got little bolts there. It's got a bunch of cable for the motor that wraps around there. But other than that, it looks like it just pops down. Look, you just unbolt it and it falls down. Obviously, I'm gonna have to close it, otherwise it's gonna get hung up on the top. But yeah, I'm sure that might be some significant weight. So I'm gonna at least pull that for now and see what I'm gonna put back in later. So that came out super easy. It was not difficult. It just had those few bolts that were holding it in, 3 on each side and then 2 in the front. And then all I had to do was unplug the electrical connector for the motor. What was it, 2609 I think it was, or 2610. And damn, here we go, look at that, 20 pounds. I knew it was fairly heavy. That's pretty sweet. Down in the 25 range, oh boy. Now I got nothing. I really want to do what my cousin has on his Sunroof. You've seen Jake's. I don't know if we actually filmed that, but it's literally removable. It just has 2 hinges in the front and then a latch in the back, and he can completely remove the glass if he wants to. And other than that, he can tilt it up. Obviously, you can't slide him back, which, you know, would be nice. But, you know, that's 20 pounds I'd like to keep out of this car, so I'm gonna have to figure something out for that. That's all I'm gonna do for today. Next time, I guess I'll probably be tearing this dash apart more, because there's still plenty of stuff in the front here that I can pull out. Like I said, I'm obviously gonna keep some of it because of the structure for the steering column and all that. But, you know, the airbag and that, and still the sound deadening on the floor that I still gotta get rid of. Yeah, so that's it for tonight. Comment, tell me what you think. I'll be out with another one shortly.